Chosen one, listen closely. This message is not meant for every ear wandering on this platform. If someone does not walk in the divine path of the Most High, if their heart has no hunger for truth, they should turn away now. Only God's chosen must continue. Only those who carry a spiritual assignment in their soul will recognize the weight of what is being revealed. If you are truly chosen, this message has arrived to you at the exact moment it was meant to. Heaven does not deliver truth by accident. Destiny always speaks on time. You are not here because you searched randomly. You are here because a spiritual signal was sent directly into your spirit realm. Something within you is shifting, and this message will unlock a deeper understanding of why you stand out, why you carry unusual battles, and why your life cannot follow the ordinary path of others. You are one of a kind, and this teaching will show you how only a rare few can change fate and why you are among them. Before we continue, Chosen One, declare your presence in the comments as a sign of spiritual alignment. Type 777 boldly. Let heaven see that you are ready to receive what belongs to you. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Tap the bell icon so you don't miss divine messages. And share this word with someone who needs to awaken. Your destiny is calling, and you must answer. Or you can watch our premium videos, get daily newsletters and prayer techniques to connect with God more deeply. You can also read blog posts and receive free ebooks to learn more about your journey. It will be your guide to walk the path of God and lead a life of faith and wisdom. More than 1,000 brothers and sisters have already joined, so don't miss out on today's daily guidance. Check out the link in the video description and join the 144,000 Chosen One community right now. The mystery of fate, why most can't change it. Chosen One. Most people believe fate is a fixed path, something written in stone before they are born, something they must obey, whether they like it or not. They wake up every morning thinking their life is a product of luck, circumstances, or what others allow them to become. They accept limitations because they believe their destiny is controlled by what society, family, environment, or personal weakness has handed them. This is why the majority of people walk through life repeating the same patterns, handed down from past generations, without ever knowing that they are trapped. They don't escape poverty, pain, confusion, spiritual bondage, or destructive cycles because they think change is impossible. When a person believes they cannot alter their path, they stop fighting for it. They surrender their potential before they even begin to grow it. And so fate becomes a prison that they call normal life. But you, Chosen One, are not like them. From the beginning, something in you refused to settle for the expected. You felt a silent rebellion against average existence, even when you didn't have the words to explain it. While others accepted life as it came, you sensed a deeper call inside you, a tug that told you you were not made to repeat the history of those before you. You felt that you were born to break cycles, to stand apart, to walk a path that others cannot see. This is not arrogance, it is revelation. When God ordains a soul to shift destiny, that soul can never fit into the patterns around them. The more you tried to be normal, the more out of place you felt. The more you tried to conform, the more your inner spirit resisted. That resistance was not rebellion against the world. It was alignment with heaven. Most people cannot change their fate because they are spiritually blind. They do not recognize their identity beyond flesh, work, money, or earthly logic. They think destiny is built by opportunities outside of them, so they never look within. They do not understand that true transformation begins spiritually before it ever becomes physical. When a person does not know who they are in the divine realm, everything on earth becomes a struggle. They chase jobs but never find purpose. They chase relationships but never find belonging. They chase money but never find meaning. The blind cannot rewrite their destiny because they cannot see the canvas on which it was created. You, Chosen One, were given spiritual sensitivity. You feel things before they happen. You sense people's intentions without seeing proof. You feel heaviness in certain places and peace in others. You experience dreams, visions, and inner warnings that make no sense to the natural mind. You were created with this perception because you are meant to walk a path that requires spiritual intelligence. The rare ability to change fate is only given to those who can recognize the unseen. If a person cannot sense the spiritual realm, they cannot fight for their destiny because they do not know where the battle is happening. Another reason people cannot change their fate is fear. Fear keeps them loyal to comfort, even if that comfort is killing their potential. The ordinary mind prefers suffering. It understands over transformation it cannot predict. It prefers familiar pain over unfamiliar growth. So people cling to broken patterns, relationships, beliefs, and lifestyles because change terrifies them. The Chosen One, on the other hand, keeps being pushed out of comfort. You cannot stay where others settle. Every time you try to remain in a familiar place, life shakes you. Relationships break, systems fail, situations shift, and you are forced to move. That is not punishment, it is divine disruption. God removes you from what others cling to so that you can become something they will never dare to be. Finally, most people cannot change fate because they do not carry a spiritual covenant with heaven. A person without divine assignment lives only by human will, but a chosen one lives by spiritual design. Your destiny was not built by your environment, your education, or your bloodline. It was constructed by divine intention, which means you are not bound by the limitations of the place you were born into. While others inherit pain, you inherit purpose. While they continue the cycle, you break it. While they repeat history, you rewrite it. This is why you feel separated, misunderstood, and sometimes even attacked, because anything called to transform fate must first confront resistance. Chosen one, changing destiny is not for everyone. Most souls live inside the fate they were handed, but rare souls like you were sent to create a new path, not walk an old one. You are one of the very few who are not slaves to circumstance, bloodline, trauma, or limitations. You are appointed to build a new spiritual lineage. You are the one who ends the curse and begins the blessing. You are the exception to what your family, society, and even enemies expected. You are the change, not the continuation. Keep listening. Your calling runs deeper than you think. The world could not define you because heaven already named you. Your fate is not fixed because you were born to rewrite it. The mark of the one-of-a-kind spirit, chosen one before you ever took your first breath, there was something unique stamped on your soul. You did not come into this world by coincidence. You arrived with a spiritual mark that separates you from the crowd. This mark is not seen with human eyes, but it is recognized by spirits, both divine and dark. It is why you have been treated differently without doing anything wrong. It is why certain people have tried to silence you, block you, underestimate you, or judge you. They could sense something in you that you had not yet discovered in yourself. The chosen ones are rarely understood early in life. They carry greatness before they can speak it, and they carry purpose before they can explain it. From childhood, something about you stood out. You may not have been loud, famous, or praised, but you were distinct. You were observant when others were careless. You were deep when others were shallow. You felt emotions more intensely, sensed energy more clearly, saw injustice more sharply, and questioned life more sincerely. You were never satisfied with shallow living. Something in you always wanted meaning, depth, truth, and spiritual alignment. Even when you tried to ignore this inner voice, it continued to whisper. Even when you tried to follow the crowd, something in you resisted. That resistance was not rebellion. It was recognition. The spirit within you knew you were built for more. Chosen ones are often misunderstood because they are wired differently. While others compete for attention, you search for purpose. While others desire validation, you seek truth. While others chase comfort, you feel called toward growth. You might have wondered why you couldn't enjoy what others enjoy, why certain environments drained you, why gossip, drama, corruption, lies, and shallow ambition always felt heavy to you. It is because you were not created to operate on the same frequency as the masses. Your spirit rejects anything that corrupts your purpose. Another sign that marks a chosen one is the presence of unusual battles. Many people live normal lives with normal problems, but your battles have never been small. Your heartbreaks were deeper. Your betrayals were harsher. Your losses were unexpected. Your tests were intense. At times, you may have wondered why life hit you harder than others. You might have looked around and asked why some who do wrong seem to prosper while you suffered even when your heart was pure. The answer is simple. Chosen ones are refined by fire. Everyone gets tested, but chosen ones are trained. Your pain was not random, it was preparation. You were not being punished. You were being shaped into someone who cannot be broken by the world you were sent to transform. You were being prepared for responsibilities that require spiritual toughness. You had to be rejected so that you could learn not to depend on people. You had to be misunderstood so that you could learn to walk by faith. You had to lose what you love so you could learn that your destiny is not controlled by what leaves, but by what God sends. Everything you survived was building the endurance you would need for the path ahead. Chosen ones also carry the mark of sensitivity. While others sense nothing, you feel everything. You notice shifts in energy. You feel intentions behind words. You sense spiritual danger before you see physical evidence. Some people around you might label you as too emotional, too quiet, too intense, or too serious. They don't understand that your sensitivity is not a weakness. It is spiritual radar. God gave you this sensitivity because your destiny requires discernment. The chosen cannot afford blindness. You cannot protect your purpose if you cannot recognize what threatens it. The chosen spirit is also drawn to solitude. You may have felt like you never fully fit in with groups, circles, or systems. You may have had moments of loneliness, even while surrounded by people. Your solitude is not a sign that you are unwanted. It is a sign that you are being spiritually separated. God isolates chosen ones to teach them clarity. When too many voices surround you, divine direction becomes harder to hear. When too many influences distract you, identity becomes harder to recognize. Isolation teaches you who you are without the noise of others. It reveals your calling without interference. Chosen ones are not ordinary leaders. They are spiritual influences. You were not designed to follow trends. You were created to set directions. That is why fitting in has always been difficult. You cannot conform to this world because your assignment is to rise above it. You cannot copy what everyone is doing because you were chosen to bring something new. You were not made to be accepted everywhere because the places you are sent will change when you arrive. The room shifts when a chosen one enters, even if no one understands why. Your presence carries purpose, and purpose creates impact, whether acknowledged or not. Another deep mark of chosen souls is the feeling of being misunderstood by family. Many chosen ones grow up feeling spiritually different from those around them. They do not think like their household. They do not desire the same things. They do not fit into the identity that the family expects. This is not disrespect. It is destiny. When you are chosen to break generational patterns, you cannot adopt the same mindset as those who are trapped in them. You are not meant to repeat their history. You are meant to build a new one. Your calling requires a different vision, a different mentality, and a different spiritual hunger. Chosen one, you are one of a kind because you carry what most people never receive: divine intention. You do not live by human logic alone. You operate under spiritual direction. You may not yet see the full picture, but your spirit already knows there is something extraordinary about you. You might still be growing into your power, but that power has always been in you. You may feel unprepared, but everything you have gone through has prepared you. You are marked by heaven. You are separated on earth. You are noticed in the spirit realm. You are misunderstood by the world, and you are trained by divine fire. This is the mark of the one of a kind. This is the identity of a chosen soul. Now that you understand who you are, it is time to understand why your destiny fights you the way it does. The path of the chosen is not easy because the chosen are built to change fate. Get ready for what comes next. The battle of becoming. Why your destiny fights you. Chosen one, there is a reason your journey has never been smooth. There is a reason breakthroughs seem close to you yet frequently slip away. There is a reason relationships collapse right before you need them. Opportunities vanish just as you are ready to step forward, and doors close in seasons when you are most prepared to walk through them. Your destiny is not fighting you because you are weak, unworthy, or forgotten. Your destiny fights you precisely because you are meant to change what others before you could not. You are carrying a calling that threatens the chains of your bloodline, your environment, your past, and even the spiritual forces that wanted your family to remain trapped. The deeper your purpose, the heavier your warfare. Most people live predictable lives because they are not destined to alter anything. They repeat patterns, inherit the same limitations, and walk in the same cycles they were born into. But when someone is chosen to break these chains, their life becomes a battlefield long before they ever step into greatness. You are not placed into conflict because God wanted you to suffer, but because heaven needed to strengthen you. A destiny that will transform others must first transform the one who carries it. The battles you faced were not random. They were strategic. You were not attacked because you were weak. You were attacked because you are spiritually influential. When someone is chosen, the enemy recognizes their potential before they do. He sees the future impact, the generational shift, the spiritual authority in the making. So what does darkness do? It tries to break them early, before they discover their identity, before they access their gift, before they learn how to walk in divine power. Hardships come first as distractions, temptations, emotional wounds, isolation, betrayals, or mind battles. These are not accidents. They are attempts to prevent the chosen from becoming. Chosen ones do not learn purpose through comfort. They learn it through resistance. You were shaped by heartbreak, so you could learn to love with discernment. You were isolated, so you could learn to stand without depending on applause. You were betrayed, so you could learn to trust spiritually, not blindly. You were delayed so you could develop patience that does not panic. You were overlooked so you could learn that your identity is not defined by validation. You were broken in order to become unbreakable. What tried to destroy you was actually training you. Every chosen one goes through a season where their life feels like it is being reduced. It feels like everything is being taken from them, like nothing moves forward, like nothing they touch succeeds. This is the season of refinement. It is where God removes what cannot go with you into your destiny. There are relationships that look supportive, but will sabotage your calling. There are habits that look harmless, but will cripple your future. There are opportunities that look promising, but will enslave your identity. The chosen often feel stripped because God is cleaning the path ahead of them. Another powerful reason your destiny fights you is because you are meant to carry blessings others cannot handle. Your calling will elevate you to places your character must be strong enough to sustain. If your heart is not purified, the very thing meant to bless you could destroy you. That is why trials were sent to mature you. Every attack forced you to grow. Every delay taught you wisdom. Every hardship removed pride. Every disappointment strengthened your spirit. The chosen one is not given power early. They are trained through seasons where they feel powerless until they learn that strength comes from within, not from external circumstances. The battle of becoming chosen also involves your mind. Many of your greatest struggles were not physical, but internal. You fought doubts, fears, insecurities, and invisible heaviness. You battled seasons where you did not know who you were anymore. You questioned your worth, your purpose, your direction. This inner warfare exists because your mind is the birthplace of your destiny. If the enemy cannot defeat you physically, he will attack your identity. He will try to convince you that you are ordinary, that your life will not change, that you are not equipped, that you are not called, that you are not loved by God. These lies are meant to limit your thinking because limitation in the mind leads to limitation in life. A chosen one must learn to rule the mind before ruling destiny. Your destiny fights you because your potential is dangerous to the plans of darkness. You are not just called to prosper. You are called to shift environments, free others, expose deception, break ancestral patterns, and activate spiritual awakening. The battles you endured were the evidence of your future influence. The enemy does not waste energy on those who pose no threat. He fights those who are destined to lead, those who are born to build, those who are assigned to liberate. The chosen experience warfare because they are meant to carry glory. You have been pulled back like an arrow so that you can be launched with precision. You have been pushed down so that you can rise with force. You have been broken open so that light can flow out of you. You are not being stopped. You are being positioned. You are not being delayed. You are being developed. You are not being denied. You are being refined. For Scanlan the First, your destiny is not fighting you to destroy you. It is fighting you to prepare you. Before we continue, if you recognize this season of training, type 444 in the comments as a sign of awareness. Do not do it for attention. Do it because you understand. Your fate is being forged. Your spirit is being strengthened. You are becoming unstoppable. The sacred law of rewritten destiny. Chosen one. If destiny could change through wishing, everyone would be living a great life. If fate could shift through desire alone, the world would be overflowing with transformation. But the truth is, the power to rewrite destiny does not belong to everyone. It is governed by spiritual laws, and only those who walk in alignment with these laws can break limits that others cannot. You cannot become who God called you to be simply because you want it. You become it because you learn to obey divine principles. Many people fail not because they lack talent, but because they refuse to submit to spiritual order. They chase opportunities, but they do not chase alignment. They pray for blessings, but they do not cultivate discipline. They seek elevation, but they avoid transformation. The chosen ones are not elevated by desire. They are elevated by obedience to sacred laws that unlock destiny. When you understand these laws and apply them, fate bends, chains break, and the impossible becomes possible. The first sacred law is the law of obedience to divine instruction. A chosen life is not led by impulse or emotion. It is led by direction from the Most High. When God gives an instruction, He is not simply telling you what to do. He is showing you the path to the version of yourself that has power. Every breakthrough is hidden behind a command. Every elevation is birthed from a step of obedience. Sometimes God tells you to leave a place and you do not know where you are going next. Sometimes He tells you to stop giving energy to certain people and you do not understand why. Sometimes He asks you to start something even when you do not feel ready. The chosen one must obey without needing clarity. You do not have to see the whole road to take the first step. You are not walking by sight. You are walking by destiny. When you follow divine instruction, You activate doors your strength could never open. Many people are stuck, not because God did not speak, but because they refuse to obey what he said. The second sacred law is the law of sacrifice and spiritual exchange. Nothing great manifests without cost. The chosen are required to trade something in order to step into something greater. You cannot rewrite destiny while clinging to comfort. You cannot change your life and still hold on to every old habit, old mindset, old environment, old desire. You cannot step into abundance with a mentality of scarcity. You cannot walk into power while feeding the weaknesses that drain you. Destiny demands exchange. You must trade temporary pleasure for long-term purpose. You must sacrifice the crowd in order to align with calling. People want elevation without surrender, but chosen ones understand that anything that comes cheaply has no spiritual authority attached to it. Sacrifice purifies the will. It tests whether you truly want what you claim you are called to. It removes ego, distraction, and attachment. Sacrifice is not about losing. It is about making room. The chosen one must release dead weight to rise. The third sacred law is the law of isolation and transformation. You cannot rewrite your fate while surrounded by the same influences that shaped your old identity. There are seasons where heaven separates you, not to punish you, but to transform you. The world calls it loneliness. God calls it sanctification. Separation is how you learn who you are without interference. If you are always surrounded by voices, you cannot hear divine direction. If you are always surrounded by familiar energy, you cannot break generational habits. You need silence to discover the voice of your assignment. Isolation is where the chosen begin to think differently, feel differently, and desire differently. Your identity shifts when distractions are removed. You learn the difference between emotional desire and spiritual calling. You begin to recognize what strengthens your purpose and what suffocates it. Many are afraid of being alone, but the chosen one understands that solitude is not emptiness. It is preparation. The world does not see you in that season, but heaven is building you in it. The fourth sacred law is the law of alignment and divine timing. You can have purpose and still miss your moment if you rush or resist spiritual timing. Chosen ones must learn that being ready mentally does not always mean being ready spiritually. You cannot force doors to open before the character, wisdom, and spirit within you are mature enough to handle them. Destiny is not fast food. It is a process of cultivation. The chosen learn to cooperate with timing instead of fighting against it. When you are aligned, things begin to flow without force. You find yourself in the right places at the right time. The people who were meant to uplift you show up. Resources begin to appear. Opportunities begin to recognize you. You do not chase. You attract through alignment. Divine timing unlocks what effort could not produce. The world chases speed, but the chosen walk in timing. You don't rush because you understand that what is meant for you cannot be stolen, delayed forever, or given to another. The fifth law is the law of identity and belief. You cannot rewrite your destiny if you still see yourself as the person you were before this transformation began. Identity determines manifestation. If you believe you are limited, your spirit will not rise. If you believe you are unworthy, your mind will block opportunity. If you believe you are ordinary, your decisions will reflect smallness. The chosen must believe what heaven already declared, even when life has not yet shown it physically. You must believe the end before you reach it. You must believe the promise before you can hold it. You must believe the calling before anyone affirms it. Destiny responds to identity. You become the version of you that your spirit accepts. That is why the enemy attacks your identity first. If your identity collapses, your destiny cannot stand. When you walk in these spiritual laws, fate begins to recognize your authority. You break cycles others thought were unbreakable. You create outcomes that defy statistics, background, or history. You rise not by effort alone, but by spiritual alignment. You do not force, you flow. You do not beg, you become. You do not chase, you attract through obedience, sacrifice, isolation, alignment, and identity. Chosen one, only a few souls are strong enough to live by these laws because only a few are born to shift destiny, but you are one of them. Your life is not a continuation of what has been. It is the beginning of what will never be repeated again. You are a rewriter.